Evening all, welcome to Space Engineers. Listen to the excitement in my voice as we start a new project. It's not an exciting project. Now, it's not a Titan, unless your Titans are very small. Yeah, we are going to build Titans at some point, I promise. I know I misappropriately named the series slightly as I started this. I think my ambition was much bigger than my actual skill level. We are going to build here a Reaver craft. All right. Now, Reaver, as in those dudes from Firefly who are a bit mental, they eat their own lips. And they seem to kind of enjoy ripping apart starships and salvaging the parts and eating and raping and eating in that order. And that's kind of what we're going to do now, just minus the eating and the raping, because we're going to focus on the stripping of ships for personal benefit. And that's the point of today. And I realize one of the key things that I seem to miss when I do these kind of looting operations is I'm missing a craft I can fly to the vessel that foolishly enters my kingdom and latch onto it, rip it to pieces, weld into the hull, steal all the good stuff, rape the cattle. Oh no, we're not doing raping, are we? But you see what I mean? Doing all of the things that basically I need to do without having to fill my pockets and then come home with basically sod all. And that's the plan. So we're going to make this a kind of looting, cargo carrying vessel kind of thingamajig. And to be honest, it's just two great big cargo cans. They're really good, by the way. I think it's the 10 times refinery speed one. It gives your cargo 10 times the size as well, which is cheating. Probably, I don't know. Don't care, bro. But it gives me the volume, obviously, that I can use to basically loot lots of nice things, precious things to play with. And a lot of the time, I think I'm getting frustrated at certain things like building large engines, for example. Large engines are a pain in the ass. So having to build those things is just a bit of a nightmare. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to salvage engines, reactors, guns, and general things like that from these foolish people who dare enter, as I said, my kingdom. So that's the plan. And it's probably the best way to do it because the reality is you need to just mine a godload of very rare ores like potassium. What am I talking about? Platinum, silver, things like this. They're not terribly rare, but they're rare enough for me to be not asked to do it. And that's the plan. So as we then look and build this mighty beast, it's going to have some pretty powerful engines because firstly, I want to get there quick because that's obviously the given. And secondly, I want to be able to latch on to certain ships and slow them down with my ship. Now, you can do that, bro. Did you not know that? You can do that. And it's awesome, seriously. And that's probably what we're going to try and do is we're going to make it so this thing also, with help, can rip apart ships. I can't wait to do that. So that little bit in Serenity when those two Reaver ships rip apart that ship, yeah, that's it. That's exactly what we're going to do. And to do this, so I thought we'd have two major engines on the back. And that's kind of all it needs. I mean, I'm surprised again how easy the game is becoming by having by having all the materials and the minerals you need available. This is why I'm really quite paranoid that if I run out of all these materials, or if I run out of just one of them, like nickel or something like that, or magnesium, which is a big one for me, I can't do sod all without it. So this is why, going and stealing a shipment of, for example, mine layers, or mines from a mine layer is actually quite useful because then I can use that material myself. I can refine it all the way back to magnesium. Hopefully that's clear for everyone. I mean, that is probably one of the key things to bear in mind is that you can actually refine all base components or complex components all the way back to their base mineral. Okay, so hopefully that's clear. I was going to put a large reactor on this, but that's basically asking for it. So I'm just going to see if I can get away with maybe two small ones. The large engines do need a fair bit of power, so this may not work for that. But I think we'll see. I mean, again, I don't really want to have to put too much reactoring stuff on here. I also think that there is something interesting about the way that reactors work. For example, when you get under load, certain reactors can do hundreds of times their percentage output. So you'll see a reactor all of a sudden go red and say you are doing 400% over what the reactor can do. But nothing ever happens. Post in the comments if I've got that wrong, and every time I'm doing it, I'm risking a reactor explosion, because I honestly don't think it will. So I'm just going to keep doing it. So maybe don't post in the comments and watch me explode and go, ooh, and then you can all laugh at me and point and throw things. Because I think that's really where it's leading to, is that I don't really know how a lot of the power is going to work post game's completion. So I'm curious about that. Anyway, here we go, building our fantastic large thrusters. I would probably recommend that you put a bit more effort and time into building this. This is functional only. I do want to make it look like a Reaver craft, so it's going to have lots of red and blood and skeletons and, you know, dead people draped liberally across it. But the purpose really at the moment is just to get the effing thing working, because so many vehicles and vessels are passing through, quote, my kingdom, that I want to go and gain benefit from them. Now, I'm not looking to destroy them. That's one of the things I'm quite keen to re-emphasize, is that I'm actually not going to destroy them. I want to maybe just take the minerals from the mining vessels and then let them go on their way. Because the worst thing is, and I'm being serious now, if you actually deactivate all of their systems, then they'll just sit in your map and they'll be a burden on the computer's load. So I'd rather not. So I'm quite happy to let them come into the system. I pillage, I take everything I need, and then I leave it enough engine so I can just fire it forward with a thrust without inertia dampeners on, and then I can leave it just to drift off into God knows where. And that's kind of my plan. That's literally the evil plan. Evil plan Mark 1. And I think really, again, I'm not looking for general stuff, so I'm not going to sit there and grind plates away necessarily. I may do some of the heavy armor plates just because, you know, maybe, not sure. But most of this is to get things like computers, because I don't want to go and mine gold. It's to get reactor components, because I don't want to go and mine silver. And get thruster components, because I don't want to go and mine platinum. So these are all things that I'm just being phenomenally lazy with. But as you see, yeah, that's the way it is. Now, let's put some uranium in this and let's see this mighty beast fire into life. That was underwhelming, very underwhelming, but there we go. Look, it's working. So that's good. So we now have obviously a working vessel, but we now need to make the thrust work on this. So first off, you've got to complete the landing gear, and that's obviously what we need to do here. But you know, there's many jobs left to do, so we'll probably pick them up in the next video. Join us next time when we will look at some of the more kind of complex things to bear in mind when you build these things, because this is actually a vessel now which doesn't necessarily have a mining function. That's just really all I've built so far. This is something that's actually going to be a kind of smash and grab getaway vehicle ship. So that's kind of the raison d'etre for this particular ship. So there we go. Hope you enjoyed that. Join us next time.